Hello, welcome to the video. In today's video, we're going to take a look at Shadow Shiftry with a Razor Leaf in the Scroll Cup. This Pokemon is designed to counter those water-type Pokemon like a Gastrodon, for example, which you see in the first battle, where we're going to have the swap out straight away into our Mandibuzz. This is the thing, we're going to have an ABB Pokemon team here, basically, that's going to be good against Gastrodon. Gastrodon taking over the Scroll Cup right now, which is also something I predicted before in terms of, first people gonna go back to Charm, trying to knock out all of those, what's called Dark-type Pokemon, and eventually they're gonna go into like the more bulky Pokemon that have a neutral matchup, which is basically Gastrodon in this meta, where you just have so many neutral matchups with this Pokemon that this is going to be one of the more common ones later on, because it's going to be good against also most of the Charm users. Anyway, we're going to be 2 shields down here because we need to keep alignment. They're going to go into the Gastrodon again, which is lovely because we have our best ants in the back. They know at this point as well that we are really looking for alignment, and they go for a charge move, which is fine for me, because I'm going to knock us out. But we're going to have now Razor Leaf coming through, and yeah, it doesn't take long. They said as well here, like this is by the way a fellow shark, that they had a little bit of lag there, but yeah, it definitely is going to look quite nice for us now. We're going to have 2 shields still on the opponent's part. We have already Leaf Blade stored, so we decide to go up here to a Brine and still try to get the shields from them. As we will see here, they're going to have a very interesting move on this Pokemon, which I didn't expect, which is Boom Burst, which is doing a lot of damage, but is still a garbage move. Like, sadly, Boom Burst is so bad. I wish that Boom Burst would be better, but as you'll see, we're going to be able to win with the Razor Leaf down. Next up, Mantine. Great lead for us. Let's see how we can mess it up. Okay, I don't know if we're gonna mess it up here or not, but we're going to have a very solid lead here. Because of the recent nerf to Wing Attack, this matchup is really in our favor, as Wing Attack just doesn't generate energy the same way anymore, which means we're gonna be able to, not getting outpaced as much as usual. It's not 5 fast moves to go for 1 aerial ace, which is quite nice. It's 6 now. I think it's 664 or 665 or something in order to get to the aerial aces. And as we will see here, we have Sludge Wave, which is a very hard hitting move. Like, this is a thing for Toxapex. If the opponent is not resisting the poison typing, they are gonna be in big trouble, because Toxapex does a lot of poison type damage. But as soon as you're gonna resist the poison typing, it is kind of a bit more dire, because even the water type damage from Brine is not really that great. But anyway, they're going to be 1 shield down, and in comes the Brayon, and in comes the Shiftry, and in comes the Annihilate, and in comes the Lostheart, right? I have nothing I can do here really anymore. I am gonna be forced to use some shields here though. I would expect like something like an Ice Punch. Yeah, there it is. So yeah, what am I gonna do next? I can go for the aerial ace here to knock them out. Is it going to be worth it for us? We're gonna get the knockout here, but now we have Brayon against the Mandibuzz, and I can go for Dark Pulse. Dark Pulse is a little bit of a tech move. Most people are running Foul Play currently, which is the better move to go for, just generally speaking, because of the pacing. But Dark Pulse is what people don't really expect, and which allowed me to win the battle here. So anyway, we're going to have here Gastrodon against Lead. That is going to be a matchup that I don't really like to see, but as we will see, we're going to see the swap out now into the Toxapex. Toxapex is going to be able to take the hit, but yeah, again, I think that's actually okay for us. We're going to be able to have at least this matchup now. It's not a great matchup for us. Again, I should use all my shields here to try to align myself, but I'm not thinking, and I had a little bit of a headache while playing, which doesn't really help me either, but I kind of need to get my sets done. So maybe here it would have been better to use a shield, because we already were able to hit the Dark Bolts, and we get the opponent kind of low here. So maybe using a shield on the first one would have been kind of nice. We're going to use a shield on the second one, which is still, interestingly enough, a Sludge Wave, so I'm actually kind of happy with that. I can go for the aerial ace here, and I'm really looking for the alignment, and so aerial ace is going to allow us to get nothing. We can go for another aerial ace. Is going to be able to allow us to get the KO here. It does not. And I should use a shield here. I should really use a shield, and I do use a shield. Okay, that's good. Because now we have Gastrodon against our Shiftry. What do they have in the back? The Sableye. That is bad. That is bad, because our lead is going to be bad against Sableye. But basically, Sableye is not bad for this team, generally speaking, because our backline can really deal with that. But we need shields for that, and we need the other grass type here for both of the Pokemon in the back. And I make a big mistake. I should stay in here. I should go for more Brines. I should just stay and try to see what happens. And what I decide to do is I swap out. I get mostly a one-shot here by a Dazzling Beam, and that's going to be it for this battle, which again, maybe I should have played it a little bit differently. Bye-bye there. I have to say though, for while I played this team here, I don't think that Toxapex is a great lead in the current meta. It did not really have a single good matchup, other than maybe the odd neutral Mandibus matchup. I didn't really like this Pokemon at all really here. Here we're going to see, of course, the mirror matchup, which is fine. It is okay. It is not great, but it's okay. It works out. We have Sludge Wave against Sludge Wave here. That's going to be okay. Anyway, let's see on how this is going to go here for us. We're going to be able to go for the no shield. We're going to have another Sludge Wave coming through, and that's basically the best one for them all, right? It is literally exactly what you want to see, the Sludge Wave matchup of Toxapex with Toxapex. Couldn't imagine a better matchup. They stop out of actually catching the move from the Annihilate. That is going to be interesting. We are going to be able to now get some fast move pressure from our Mandibus, which is good. We have two good answers against Flying type Pokemon, mainly on how this works out as well. So yeah, let's see here. We're going to be able to go ahead and go for the full farm down here. Hopefully the opponent is going to be able to still go for another charge move. The Ragers you're going to decide to use a shield against. But we have a ton of energy here, which you can use up against the opponents. Toxapex, we go for the big move, trying to knock them out straight away. Does it work out for us? It does not work out because they use a shield. They go for the Sludge Wave, and I still need to keep my shield, of course, for my other Pokemon in the back. Here, Aerial Ace might be enough to knock them out. It is not actually enough. They can swap out into the Chestnut, and I was like, I should stay in here, right? And then I regretted basically instantly afterwards. If I swapped out into my Shiftry, I would have forced them to go for the Superpower to drop their opponent's defense. Here I tried to catch a Superpower, which turns out to be a Frenzy Plant, and I completely screw up the matchup for myself. I didn't need to have it like this. It was kind of silly by me, absolutely silly by me, but it is what it is. Good game to the opponent. They're going to be able to go for another Superpower here, and yeah, good game. Worked out well for them. Move on to the next one. Mantine in the lead is going to be a lead that I like. We see the Swampert swapping in. They have no Sludge, so I have to be a bit mindful, because if they didn't have Sludge here, I didn't need to use a shield whatsoever. And so, yeah, we're going to be able to go for the full farm down. We will see here the Mantine coming in. We're going to have the Leaf Blade, and this is going to allow us to do some solid damage against them. This is going to allow us to get a ton of damage up against the opponent's Mantine. And as we will see here, there is going to be an Aerial Ace knocking us out, but we can go for the full farm down with the Toxapex. They have the Gastrodon in the back, and this is going to be a good game. Moving on to the next opponent. We will see here as well that the opponent is going to have yeah, the Gastrodon we have to sub out straight away, and we're going to get out the Broguiere. This is going to be okay. We're going to have still the Dark Pulse damage, which might help us out here in the 2-shield scenario. We have to see on how this is going to go. But it looks like maybe I can go for the full farm down here. Let's see, I'm going to be able to go for the Aerial Ace. I should use a shield here. And I hope that I can just go for the full farm down. I should be able to, right? Let's find out. We have the Aerial Ace coming through. This is going to be great, because this is going to allow us to get the shield from them. And now it's just lag. Yeah, this would have been simultaneous as knocked out there. Like, we would have been able to maybe align ourselves, but without the knockout here at the same time as the opponent, we have no way of telling what they have in the back. It's very likely going to be a Mandibus, and yes, we're going to lose because of this. It would have been a 50-50 chance, by the way, if the game would have worked how it's supposed to be working, because at the end of the day, yeah, this is just a guessing game, and what they're going to go into. Like, this is something that we don't really know. But as we'll see here, the opponent is going to have now the Hakomo. We're going to swap out into our own Pokemon in order to deal with it, our own Flyer. Well, this is going to be absolutely great. We're going to have here the Brick Break coming through. We have more damage now onto us, but honestly, it doesn't really matter. We can go for the Aerial Ace now as well, which is going to allow us to go for another farm down there as well. And we're going to be able to align ourselves, which is basically just all that I want. And let's see what's coming in next. It's going to be the Toxapex again, and so at least we can align ourselves. We have here the Brine coming through. We can still go for Dark Bolts. Dark Bolts is going to do some very solid damage here, I would say. And with this one, we will have the swap out here now from the opponent to the Gastrodon, which means we don't have a great answer. I'm going to go for the bait. And this is going to not work out at all. If I went for the Sludge Wave, I would have very likely won the battle here at this point. But I didn't, and so I have to go for more baits, which is not going to help us either. We're going to get the shield here. Now it's down to Shiftry. Was I able to catch the move? Was I able to catch the Brutal Swing? No, it was a Dragon Claw, and that is going to make it all even worse. Like, I don't know what I'm doing. But yeah, good game to the opponent here. This game is not going to be ours, because as we see here, Toxapex is coming in again. This is not really ideal. And so this is going to not work out at all. We can still go for a leaf play. We're still trying our best. This is going to be fine. This is going to definitely be an interesting matchup here still, because the opponent is having still the Gastrodon. We will try to go for the full farm now, but it doesn't work out. Of course, it doesn't work out. Good game to the opponent. We all kind of knew before that this is going to not really be working out for us at all. We can move on to the next one. Next up, great lead. And we have 2 Pokemon to deal with it. Gastrodon comes in. We don't really have a Pokemon to deal with it. We're gonna stay in here and we can eventually at least go ahead and go for the big sludge here. And the big sludge is not coming through. We're gonna have a Brain coming through, expecting the opponent to use a shield here because I would do so much damage. They do use a shield and know that. I can try to catch the move here as well in the Mana Bus. I didn't. And I guess stay in here and let the move go through and see where I'm gonna end up, because I know they still have the Shiftry. So yeah, this is going to be interesting. Sludge Wave going to knock them out. And yeah, they still have their Germnaa. Great for them, but Shiftry is going to be able to beat both of the remaining Pokemon from the opponent. It's going to be here the Morpeko, which is a bit more annoying, which I should actually swap out straight away into the Shiftry again. Made a mistake there. Swapping out straight away into the Shiftry would have made so much more sense in so many ways that I just make this matchup way more difficult for myself. I'm forced to use a shield here, but I also know that the opponent is going to be able to get another Ice Beam off, as we only going to have 1 Leaf Blade yet. So yeah, Leaf Blade coming through. We're gonna try to sub out when they go for their move, but I actually expected them to go for a better fast move timing, which they didn't. And with that, we're gonna be in such an awkward spot that we only have the Mana Bus against the Azumarill. You know what's even more awkward? I actually thought that at this point, the opponent still had a shield left. They didn't have the shield left the entire time, which is even worse. So good job me, as now we're gonna try our best to go for the Aerial Ace, and I went for another fast move, and another fast move, and another fast move, for absolutely no reason. So yeah, I could just went for the charge move the entire time and knocked them out. So if you wonder why I overfarm here, I thought the entire time they had a shield left, but they didn't. And yeah, let's move on to the next matchup. We're going to have here Mana Bus coming in. We're going to try our best to go for some Sludge Wave damage here as well. This is going to be, generally speaking, a favorable matchup for us. Like, we usually win this matchup here, which is going to be great. And so yeah, we're going to have here now the big Sludge Wave coming through. That's going to allow us to get a lot of damage in. And we have now the Duo coming in as well, where we can still go for another Sludge Wave to just do a lot of damage. And this is going to be perfect. We have the swap out into the Shiftry. We have to use 1 shield here, of course, because otherwise this is going to, yeah, knock us out, of course. I want to keep alignment. And so we have a ton of energy now. We have the knockout. Sadly, Razor Leaf got nerfed recently, so like that is why it does way less damage than before. Actually, it feels like completely different. But as we will see here, we're going to have to take the Aerial Ace. We're going to try our best to get them kind of low. We're very likely going to see a swap out here. It's going to be the Gastrodon, so it's going to be a good game. The opponent still tries their best here, so let's take a look at, well, half a battle still worth of time for us trying to go for Air Slash against the Gastrodon. There is basically, like, that's something. Unless you have, like, maybe Water Pulse on the Gastrodon, you have basically no real way that you are gonna be able to get rid of the Mana Bus here. Like, it's such a dominant matchup for the Mana Bus. It is madness. So, yeah, this is gonna be fine here. We're gonna be able to go for the big charge move here. Dark Pulse coming through. And as you'll see, we're gonna try our best to go for another move. I expect them to swap out eventually. I overfarm way too much because of that, and I go for the Aerial Ace now, because no matter what is going to be happening, it is going to be fine. And we will see here that this charge move is going to allow us to get the KO, and they're gonna just, at this point, forfeit. Next up, we're going to have a great lead matchup for us. We're going to see the swap out here as well. And this is going to be absolutely amazing for us, because we are going to be able to just go ahead and go for the Air Slash and the Aerial Ace to get the KO against the Annihilate. Again, the team is kind of straightforward. If you have a bad lead, swap out. And yeah, we are going to be able to get the KO. Azumarill is back there. What do they want to do against Toxapex? Most likely nothing. So yeah, we will try our best here that this is going to be a good matchup for us, but they're actually going to reveal that they have the Cracks there in the back, which again is a bit silly by me to even swap out of here. I have an answer to both Pokemon in the back, but I rather went to the harder answer to the Azumarill, which I guess was a mistake. It's still going to be an interesting one because we are going to be able to just go ahead and go for the Brine. We will try our best to swap out eventually. If we can't, it doesn't matter because you know what? We still have the hardest answer in the back. We can go into the Manta Boss just to soak up some energy, or we actually even go for another charge move here. They swap out into the Azumarill. There's nothing they can do. Like, there's absolutely nothing they can do. Maybe I should went into the Manta Boss just for them to waste their energy, but we're gonna be able to use our shields here, and no matter what they're gonna do, we should be able to win this battle. We can use another shield here as well. And yeah, we're just gonna be able to go for the Razor Leaf down, and this is what Shiftry does. Shiftry is cool at trapping those water-type Pokemon. Hopefully, you enjoyed this video. Hopefully, Shadow Shiftry is something that you have in your team. Worked way better, by the way, the longer I played this team. The first set was pretty much a disaster, but afterwards, it was a really cool team. Hopefully, you enjoyed this. If you did, feel free to leave a like, and I will see you then. Bye-bye.